This evening we have Mark, VK3OHM, and his subject matter this evening is the HamClock. So without further ado, I'll hand over to you, Mark.
Okay,
Thank you.
Just as a matter of interest, how many of you already have testing 1, 2, 3? Got it? Okay, how many of you already got a HamClock? All right, preaching to the converted.
I've never heard that, so I'm a
Okay, well, the purpose of tonight is to hopefully get you to want one, because I reckon they're cool. Anyway, let's get started. So what is a HamClock? Now, I'm just wondering if I should go off that one or that one.
Do you want to turn it around so you can...
Well, this is a bit small for me, and that's a bit big, but I've got to stand it. No, I'll manage on this. A HamClock is a kiosk style. What kiosk means is it's an application that fills the entire screen of a computer, and you can't see the underlying operating system at all, in theory, like an ATM. And it provides you with real-time space weather, propagation models, and all sorts of other particularly useful information for a radio amateur. I'm a fairly serious DXer, and this has changed the way I DX. It gives me so much more information, situational awareness than I had before. It's been extremely useful. It's developed by Elwood Downey. I've had a lot to do with him lately. It was first described in QST in October 2017, so it's relatively new. It runs on anything. They all have their quirks and foibles, but it will run on almost anything. It's easiest to run on a Raspberry Pi, and most people run them on Raspberry Pis. It's called HamClock, but it's way more than a clock. There is a clock on it, but it's only a very small part of what it's about. It's really a DX's toolbox. When you start the thing up, you obviously got to enter in a lot of setup information, just your call sign, your lat long, which cluster you want to use for spots. It will do rig and rotator control if you want it to. Your NTP, that's the time, internet time server. What format you like, what measurement units. You need to select full screen mode, and there's many, many more settings you have to set up, but you only got to do it once. Now, it's got lots and lots of panels. The first obvious one is the clock panel, which simply has your call sign, the date, day of the year. And like everything, it's absolutely customisable to death. You can customise the foreground of the call sign, the background of the call sign, the time, whether you're using UTC or local. He's tried very, very hard to make it provide any option that anybody could possibly want. It does have a stopwatch, and you also can convert this into just a big clock and nothing else, if that's what you want. Then there's two panels, which you can see on the real one there, the DX and the DE. The DE is me, so that's information about the operating position. We're currently UTC plus 11. Got date and time, lat long, grid locator. That means sunset in 8 hours. Sunrise was 4:45 hours ago. The DX is the other guy you're talking to, and inexplicably R and S are the other way around, just to confuse the hell out of everybody. But it will just tell you, oh, that's his distance, that's his azimuth, and that's his time zone. It will even give you the weather at the DX location. Now, one of the most important panels is the map panel. And there's a hell of a lot of information on here, and you can change it. There's many, many different maps. You can have political maps, geographical maps, topological maps, and you can even do those sort of maps and show satellite passes and all sorts of stuff. And there's, down there you can see all the different types and options you have for maps. Way more than is really necessary, but I guess he got sick of people saying, "Oh, can I have a map of the weather?" Well, what's that got to do with ham radio? Yeah, sure, here you are. So it's nothing if not incredibly flexible. Now there's three top panels. I'm talking about these ones here. And you've got 18 different panels to choose from to go into those three panels. You can even get live pictures of the sun. You'll see on my particular version here, I've settled on, where is sunspot number? I've settled on sunspot number, live spots, and the VOA cap. The live spots is good because it simply tells you, just by looking at the numbers, which bands are open. This is only monitoring data from PSK Reporter, so it's only digital modes. But if the band's open, the band's open. So just looking at those raw numbers, you can tell which bands are open and which bands are not. And then you've got the VOA cap prediction. You just click on the map and it'll do a prediction for that path. There's a whole lot of other things which some people may find useful. Sunspot number, solar flux, what the moon's doing. Planetary K value, I don't even know what that is. A values, the strength of the solar wind. There's everything you could conceivably want to know, and probably more. There's also space weather and contests and the magnetic field. Oh, and also weather. I don't know where DX is, but it's 75 and clear at the time. And also you can control your rotators. You can see, first of all, you can select the mode. You can select CW, SSB, or digital. You can select how much power, in this case 100 watts, and then you can select, can you see that? SP. You just click on that short path, click on it, it goes long path. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the full VOA cap, but it's enough. So what will you need to build one of these things? You need a Raspberry Pi, I would claim, but it'll work on almost anything. It'll work on any Raspberry Pi, including the Raspberry Pi Zero. They're getting so small it's quite ridiculous.
Mark, a question from Zoom from the last slide. What is VOA cap?
It's a piece of predictions. It's a website. You have to Google it. It's a piece of prediction software which will calculate the probability of communication on a particular path, on a particular mode, with particular power at a particular time. Black means forget it. There is no circuit. Red means, well, yeah, maybe less than 20% chance. Yellow is 50% chance, and green is better than 80% or some figure like that. So it's pretty good. I might show you later if we've got time, but if you click on a particular band, it'll show you the map, the prediction map for the whole of the band. So it's quite good. So you'll need a Raspberry Pi, or you can use any Unix box. You'll need a monitor. This is a 24-inch monitor, and that's probably the optimum size for most shacks, but you can go bigger. I wouldn't recommend going smaller because there's so much information on the screen. You need internet access. You need about an hour to put it together. There's a little bit of complexity to it. You'll need a couple of days to sort of customise it, to sort out, well, what is it I actually want to see? I can't see everything. I have to decide, I have to be selective. Which panels do I want to see? And most people will settle on a set of panels after a couple of days. So the basic steps are, for a Raspberry Pi, you just use the Raspberry Pi imager, you create an SD card, you give the thing a host name, I'd suggest HamClock. You connect your SD card, a keyboard, a mouse, internet, and you boot it up. Go into Raspberry Pi configuration. I would suggest you enable VNC. That's a thing which allows you to control your Raspberry Pi remotely from another PC, rather than kneeling on the ground under the desk with a monitor and a keyboard, as I used to do. You can remote control your Pi completely from another place. Now there is a set of instructions. My only word of advice is read them 4 times before you attempt to put a system together. Everything you need to know is in there, but it's not in a logical order. And there's a bit of, after 50 bullet points, it'll say, and under no circumstances do this. Well, I wish you'd told me that earlier. So you need to read the instructions 4 times. But it's all there. The default screen is 800 by 480, which is a bit small. The graphics are a bit chunky at that resolution. The only options you have are to have that resolution, or twice that resolution, or 3 times that resolution, or 4 times that resolution. That's the only options you have. What you're seeing there at the moment is twice that resolution. That seems to be enough. Then you've got to configure HamClock for full screen and scale it. So you have to use all these xrandar commands to scale your screen up from the default resolution. And to save you having to type that every time you switch it on, you've got to do some trickery inside Linux to make it do those commands when you power up. Again, it's mentioned in the instructions, but it's not 100% clear how it works. And of course, it's different on every Linux system, just subtly different. And then you customise your displays. Now, it's got a couple of nice features. You can actually see that screen there exactly as it is in a browser somewhere else on another machine. So if you simply go to that URL, you can see what your HamClock sees, so you can be not at home, not even with the screen on, and you can just drop in on your HamClock at home and see what the go is. And you can also interrogate the HamClock. There's 50 commands, I just put a subset there so you can interrogate it remotely to get all sorts of information if you actually want to do some sort of control of it remotely. So that's quite useful. I use it to, I'm not sure the commands are on there. I use it to just turn it on and off remotely. When I turn my computer off, it runs a script and it turns HamClock off. Yeah, provided you've punched a hole through your router and got the right IP address and set up some passwords, if that's what you want to do. Yes, you can access it from anywhere. So, I guess in summary, I believe it's essential for the Sirius DXer to provide you with situational awareness. It certainly made a big difference to me. I had about 17 windows open and I couldn't keep track of what the hell was going on, and it was all too hard. This condenses it all into one place, and it doesn't involve your PC. It's low cost. You'll get a Raspberry Pi for $100 and you get a monitor for $100. It's relatively easy to put together. I'm not going to say trivial. Took me an hour or two because I'm quite unfamiliar with Raspberry Pis. I'm a bit less unfamiliar now, but even so, it's Linux, so therefore it's hard. I just said that to stir you up. And I guess it's a serious piece of shack bling, really. Looks really cool. Just before we get into questions, I'll just show you a couple of things. That's the normal setup, where you just Velcro your Raspberry Pi to the back of the monitor. And just on here, I'll show you the remote control. All right, so that's just my browser window. And I've browsed to the endpoint in HamClock, and I can do anything I can do on the actual HamClock itself, including get into the setup. So I can, I'll just show you the setup. So, like all things, you just... One of the things that was particularly frustrating about this, you see this here, see where it says page 1, with the angle brackets. I thought, well, that's obviously a button. Looks like a button. So I kept pressing it. And I randomly went backwards or forwards, and I couldn't work out what the hell was going on. So I spoke to Elwood, and he says, oh no, the angle brackets are the buttons. Yeah. Well, okay, now I know. But, you know, you could have made it obvious. It doesn't say it anywhere in the documentation. Yeah. So you know, it's the user interface is leaves something to be desired. But you can customise everything, all the colours. You can make the display come on and off on a schedule if you want to do that. Obviously you set up your location so that you are located in the centre of the screen. I don't have any clusters. I don't have any rotator or rig control. For the time services NTP, I don't care. You pick one. For some reason, I don't know why, you can also add up to 2 temperature sensors onto this thing. You can have an inside and an outside temperature. It will also, theoretically, automatically adjust the brightness of the screen depending on the ambient brightness. But that only works on some systems. It doesn't work on mine, unfortunately. A whole lot of other setup things. All right, so we're done with that. I'll skip all this rubbish. Now, it's got a couple of nice things. It's a bit slow. I don't think you can see it there. Can you see that line under the call sign? Just barely. Yeah. It tells you the uptime, it tells you your IP address, and also the version. This is 3.06. When he makes a new release, that goes red, which means, oh, there's a new release. You just click on it, wait a minute, and it updates it. So it's really easy to maintain. I'll show you a VOA cap. Let's have a look at a map for 20 metres. Now, DE is that orange circle. Where the hell's DX? I don't know. I'll make DX, I just click on it and the DX is now over there. So I'll click on the 20 metre band. And there you are, there's your propagation map for 20 metres. Lots of black holes just at the moment. Now, how do I turn that off? Click it again. Oh, I was going to show you a short path and long path. So that's short path. If I just click on the SP, it's a bit different. Much bigger black holes. But it's nice to have that sort of capability that you can just very quickly and easily, without too much fuss. And the other thing you can do, of course, is, so let's try for CW. Similar. Yeah, we'll try SSB. There's a separate one for FT8 and FT4. I'm not sure they'd be any significantly different.
FT4's got lower bandwidth, that should be.
Yeah, but it's all, this is about propagation. So
Yeah, but
obviously,
lower bandwidth, the greater the.
yeah. So SSB is not real flash at all. All right, let's turn that off. Now, on the countries, you can, there you are, you can select, well, what style do you want? Country boundaries or terrain or, I don't know what DRAP is. MUF, Aurora, weather. What sort of grids do you want? What sort of projection? Let's try azimuthal. Oh, it's one of those split hemisphere things. Yeah, no, I don't like that. What's Robinson? I don't know what Robinson is. Oh yeah, just rounded corners.
One of the things I found useful, Mark, is the pointer you just stick on the country and get you the country code.
Yeah, and as you drag your mouse over the country, it's telling you which country and prefix. If you pick a town, Oh, see up the top of the map? It's showing you the town. It's even showing you the population of the town. Now, I asked Elwood, so why do you show the population? And he said, well, I had the data. I thought I might as well put it up. And I thought, well, I don't think you should. It's a distraction. But anyway. So there's a lot to explore in there about what it can do. It even shows you a nighttime view, shows you lights and all sorts of crazy things. Now, in terms of changing the panels, no. Oh, no, I didn't mean to click that. I'll pick another panel, which is not so sensitive. When you click at the top of the panel, so for that particular panel, you've got a choice of all of these panels to be in that spot. You've got 1, 2, 3 medium-sized square panels, and you've got, I don't know what that is, 16 options for each panel. Where's the sun? Don't know. And they're all the same. So, oh, I don't remember selecting that. I don't remember selecting that either. So again, for that panel, I can select all of these things. This panel at the end, oh, you've got to go cancel. I can show the local weather or the distant weather. Oh, I can turn it off even. Oh, I don't know. And you can see there I've got 3 options selected. It will cycle around to those 3 options. So let's see if we can work out what the... Yeah, it does show beacons. Yeah, the beacons. Yeah, okay. So you can have hours of fun just exploring what are all the bits of information it can display. Oh no, that's putting my DE in. I can change my time zone. Next week I'll need that. We go back to +10. And you can cycle through and have an orgy of colour. How do I get back to where I was? I like what I had.
How do you do the rotator stuff?
I don't know. I haven't got a rotator, so... I think the way it would work is you would click on a DX location and it would just go...
Yeah, but you must be able to set it up something.
Yeah. I don't know how you... I don't know how you...
How are you going to talk to it?
I don't know how you tell it whether it's long path or short path, but I'm sure there's a way. Yeah, I mean, this is telling you, look, it's cloudy at that location, in the middle of the ocean. It's raining there. Kiribati, it's raining. Fine. So, look, it gives you a hell of a lot of information. And I think I'll go back to Mercator. Right. Any more questions?
Yeah. You ever feel like you've got information overload?
Like I have,
Do you ever feel you've had information overload?
all the time.
Okay.
Are you implying that you've had information overload?
What percentage of the amateur radio worldwide would have used to that?
There are 50,000 installations worldwide that are reporting home, calling home back to Elwood. So there's probably 200,000 or 300,000 installations worldwide. So it's I've got to say relatively popular. I find that very useful. It means that 20 metres and 40 metres are working okay-ish, and the rest don't bother with. There's not much happening. But you can see the clustering of the dots anyway. It looks like Europe and the US is working just at the moment, which is all right.
Everybody happy? No further questions?
No further questions? All right, thank you very much.
There'll be no further questions. Thank you, Mark. That was a great little presentation.